Today, I'm going to answer some of the most common questions I get about my carnivore diet. That includes things that I eat, how much I eat, how often I eat, that kind of stuff. So stay tuned to this entire video and find out exactly what I've been doing. All right, so there's a few very common questions that I get all the time about my diet, my carnivore diet, and so forth. So I'm going to dive right in here. And question number one is, how much do I eat in a day? So the first thing here is that it really kind of depends on um, what I'm eating. And most of the time I'll say I'm eating eggs and I'm eating some sort of beef, whether it's like ground beef, burger patties, steak, something like that. But there are other times that I'll eat something else. I'll eat some chicken, maybe some chicken wings, or I'll have some chicken thighs or something like that. And if I do eat something like that, that doesn't fill me up quite the same as eating the beef. And I think some of it has to do with maybe there's not as much fat, that kind of thing. But overall, if I do eat like chicken or something like that, I will eat more often. Same thing if I eat some kind of pork, I might have some bratwurst or something like that, or some sausage, or just maybe a pork loin, something like that. So if I eat that kind of thing, most likely I'm gonna end up eating a little more. So I'm gonna go with what I do most of the time because this is probably 85 to 90% of the time, this is what I eat, and it'll give you a better idea of just what I eat, how much I eat, that kind of thing. So, pretty much every day I will eat eggs. I'll have about 6 to 8 eggs every day in a meal. Typically, I will be eating around, I would say, the noon, 1 o'clock time frame, and I'll have like about 6 eggs, and then I'll have like a pound and a half of beef. So it might be burger patties or just ground beef that was made into burger patties, maybe ground beef that's mixed in with the eggs, or it could be some sort of steak. I tend to get New York strip a lot because it's cheaper. I buy it at Costco in the big slabs and cut my own steaks. And so it's a little bit cheaper than if I eat like ribeye or something like that. And I can leave the fat cap on so I get a decent amount of fat to it. So it's not too lean either. So again, around that 24-ounce range for the steak, that's about a pound and a half. So I'll have that and again, about 6 to 8 eggs. Now, sometimes that's all I need to eat in the day. A lot lately, though, I've been eating again a second time, and this is where something else might come into play. Typically, I'll do like if I did steak earlier in the day, then I'll have burger patties, maybe a couple burger patties, maybe a couple more eggs, that type of thing. Or it'll be something smaller. Maybe it'll be some bacon. There are times that I'll take a half a pound of bacon or even a pound of bacon, or maybe it's chicken wings or chicken thighs or something like that. So that's what a typical day is for me. Um, in terms of beef, it's probably a pound and a half to 2 pounds, depending on what I might eat between the first meal and the second meal. Sometimes I just eat the one meal though, so it might just be a pound and a half of beef. And then there's always the eggs, around 6 to 8 eggs, and potentially a couple other little things in there, like I said, like the chicken wings, the chicken thighs, that kind of stuff. But that's pretty much a day for me. And it's pretty consistent that way. I can eat eggs and burger patties or eggs and steak every day for several days in a row, couple weeks, 2, 3 weeks in a row. And that's just what I eat, and it works for me. All right. So another common question I get is, do you eat liver or any other organs? And no, I don't. I've been on carnivore for over 2.5 years now, and I never eat any liver or other organs. Yes, they do have more nutrients to them than your typical beef or whatever. But you still get all the nutrients that you need with beef. In most cases, you do not need that many nutrients, and if you eat too much organ meat, liver, whatever it is, you may be getting too many nutrients, and that could be a bad thing for your health. So, that could cause some problems potentially with your kidneys and that kind of stuff. So, actually, getting too much organ meat could be a problem that you should watch for. For me, it's not a problem because I don't eat any organs, but it's also okay in terms of that I'm not getting too little of the nutrients that I need because I know that there's the whole thing of eating from the entire piece of the animal, whether it's cow or whatever, right? And like talk about in the olden days they used to eat that way. for me, I just haven't needed it, and it doesn't seem to affect my diet. Anytime I've had blood work done, I'm looking good with all the different things that I use or that I need, and I just don't see any issues. And there's a lot of other people I know that don't really have any organ meat either, and they've been doing this for a few years and they're perfectly fine. Okay, so now next question. Do you take any vitamins or supplements? So I do. First thing is right now it's the winter time here and I don't get outside very much. So I take vitamin D in the winter time. In the summer, I would take it too, like if I'm not going to be outside very much for a period of time, or if it's been cloudy and rainy and I just don't get much sunlight, then I will supplement some vitamin D. But in the wintertime, I definitely do every day just because I'm not getting outside and there's not as much sunlight out there anyway. The days are shorter and what's the chances that I'm going to get out there when it is light out to get some sun? So I do definitely supplement vitamin D. Um, in terms of other types of vitamins, there's not really any vitamins that I supplement with. Um, just regular supplement type of things, like electrolytes. I will do that. For me, it's not something that I need all the time, but quite often I will have some sort of a electrolyte mix that I will drink. And typically that is like if I've been out walking a lot or working out or something, so that there's been a lot of sweating going on or something like that. Or if I just don't feel as good, if I feel maybe a little more lightheaded or something, like that's a clear sign of maybe needing some sodium or even, magnesium or potassium or something. I am somebody that was diagnosed with AFib back in 2018. And so I was taking magnesium and potassium as a supplement. I started doing some electrolytes here and there as needed, and I don't take the magnesium and potassium as a separate pill anymore or anything like that. But that's something that I do need to make sure that things are good. So for instance, if I haven't had any extra electrolytes in a while, and I notice some skipped heartbeats or something, that could be a sign of potassium for me. It could also be sodium, but so, I'll definitely take electrolytes then, and that usually takes care of the skipped heartbeats that could come, and then they're gone and everything seems fine again. So that's something else that I do there, the electrolytes. Another thing I do is not really anything for nutritional necessarily, but I do take Stem Enhance Ultra from Cerule. As a matter of fact, I have a bottle right here that I can show you. So I do take this, and I personally take couple servings a day, actually 3 servings a day. And so here's a question, something that people say to me, well, you know what, with a carnivore diet, you don't need to take that. Well, that's not exactly true. So yes, the carnivore diet, you're probably going to have less inflammation in your body and so forth. So the stem cells that you have are going to be able to work more on the pieces on your body that are needed to repair cells and so forth, right? And not necessarily deal with all kinds of inflammation in your body and that. So that part of it is true. But what Stem Enhance Ultra does is it actually allows more of your stem cells to get released into your body. As you get older, they kind of get stuck in your body and they don't release as much as what you had before. Well, this now has more releasing. So if you think of it, the carnivore diet and taking Stem Enhance Ultra together is kind of like an a better benefit beyond carnivore, because not only do you not have that inflammation in your body, so that the stem cells you have are going to the important things that they need to go to for cell repair and replacement. But now you have even more of those stem cells getting released to do even more of that work that helps you to recover from, injuries and so forth quicker. Yes, you're already going to recover from injuries quicker than when you ate poorly because you don't have as much inflammation. But then this is going to help even more if you have an injury. I had a shoulder injury. It helped where I was to a point with carnivore, it helped the injury, but it didn't get fully better. And then when I started taking Stem Enhance Ultra, it was able to get better faster, all the way. And then if you do have an injury, it tends to heal things quicker and so forth, because not only do you not have that inflammation? So your stem cells are going to the places that it needs, but you have even more stem cells that got released into your body that are doing that. So that's why I do the Stem Enhance Ultra. Kind of a long explanation there, but that's for, people always ask me like, well, you don't really need to do that because you're doing carnivore, but that's the explanation of what that in combination with carnivore can do for you. All right. And then the last question that I wanted to answer today is a lot of people ask me, do you exercise and how much do you exercise? So that really depends on the time of year for me. If it's a spring, summer, even into the early fall, the answer is yes, I exercise. I get out, I do a lot of walking, I do lifting weights and so forth. Maybe not as much as I should, but I do all that stuff. Then I get into the winter time and I don't get outside because it's cold. So I don't go out and walk that much, don't get very much exercise in there. And I tend to not yeah, get lazy with the working out and not do the workouts. So right now I've done very little exercise for the last couple of months. But I really need to get back into it. And as it starts getting warmer, I'm sure I'll get out more. I'll get more walking in, which is always a good thing. And I'll also get, out and doing more of lifting weights. I have weights in the garage and it's not a heated garage. So it tends to be harder to do that in the wintertime. I know I could do stuff in the house too, bring the weights in the house, like in the basement and that, but I haven't been doing that. So that's kind of where I am with the exercise. And over the last couple years, 2.5 years, I've been on carnivore. It's kind of been the same type of situation, spring, summer, even into early fall. I do really well with the working out and getting a lot of more activity in, walking and so forth. And then as I get to the winter time, I kind of slack off a bit. So that's been the case, for me for really 2.5 years. I wish I was better with the exercise and did more exercise. Exercise is great for you. Uh, that there's just so many good things with the exercise, especially if we're talking about just getting out and walking, or if you're doing any heavy weightlifting type of things, any uh not necessarily cardio, because cardio isn't necessarily the best thing for you know trying to build muscle and lose body fat, but any kind of high intensity type of training, those are really good for you. So I hope that this video was great for you today. Hope that it helps to explain some of the things that I do on my carnivore diet. And if you have any other questions for me, just go ahead and put them in the comments. And I'm always pretty good about getting back to people and answering those questions and so forth.